Okay, we're going to be doing some eye retouching. And eye retouching is a little bit more complicated than a lot of other retouching because there's just so much involved. And the eyes are so important to a portrait or to a headshot, any kind of photo that you're really showing the face. The eyes are really just the most important part because that's the first thing we look at when we look at somebody's face is their eyes. So first of all, if you want to follow along and use the same image that I'm using for this tutorial, for this lesson, just open up the file I gave you called iRetouchExample.tiff. And that's this image that we're looking at right here. And actually what we're looking at is the photo where everything has been completely retouched. So this is the finished image, and this is what it's going to look like when we're done going through all of these eye retouching lessons. If you look over here in the layers palette, I have 3 layers for you in this file, and one of them is this layer right here called Parts of the Eye. We're going to be talking about different parts of the eye as we're retouching. Included this little diagram so that you can know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. The catch light of the eye, that is the light source that's reflected in a person's eye. In this case, it's something called a beauty dish, which is a type of strobe that I used for this shot. It could be the actual sun, that's the catch light. It could be a window. It could be the open sky. It's just the light source that you see reflected in the person's eye. And the iris, or eye color, that's the part of the eye here that we always refer to as the person's eyes when we refer to the color of their eyes, blue, green, or in this case she has beautiful brown eyes. So that's what the iris is. That's the color part of the eye. And the pupil, that's the dark circle in the center. That's the pupil of the eye. And of course, you know what the eye white is, the whites of the eyes. And the moon, you may not know that phrase unless you've taken a class from Face Circus, is the moon is the highlight that is opposite the catch light, and the moon is this little crescent-shaped moon that you see right here opposite the catch light that will give you a nice rounding effect to the eyes. My mother was an artist also. She did oil paintings, and in all of her portraits I noticed she always painted this moon. And I learned how to do this from Face Circus, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. So anyway, let's go back over here to the layers palette. Click on the layer that's right here that says eyes not retouched. Okay, we're going to start there. So everything's been done in this photo except for the eyes themselves. And when I talk about the eyes, I don't mean the eyelashes or the eyebrows. We're going to deal with those things in later lessons, but right now, for these lessons on eye retouching, I'm referring just to the eye itself, right here. Okay, one thing I've given you is a set of actions that you can use to help you in retouching. And if you don't have these actions loaded up, here in my actions palette you can see there's Dave's Beauty Kit actions. If you don't have those actions loaded, you'll want to load those now along with the brushes and all the other presets that I gave you, because these actions are going to look for these brushes and look for some of these other things. Lesson 2 tells you how to load all those things up so they'll be ready to go. Okay, here we go. The action we're going to use is Dave's eye retouching action with stops and instructions. Now, play the action, a stop comes up and it stops the action, stops what's happening, and gives you a dialog box that tells you to do something. And you'll understand as we go along as we play this. I also have below here Dave's eye retouching action creates layers only. That's the action I use myself every day for doing retouching on people's faces. It creates all the layers needed for doing eye retouching, and just has them all ready to go. And I kind of use it like as a checklist to let me know what I need to think about as I'm retouching eyes to make sure everything looks great. But this is the one we're going to use above it, Dave's eye retouching action with stops and instructions. And I'm just going to run the action itself without doing the retouching, and we're going to do the actual retouching in future lessons. So this first lesson is just how to use the action and how it gets all the layers set up for you. Okay, so I just clicked the play button, and the first thing that happened is that it created this layer over here called cleanup, and these instructions popped up over here. and it says the cleanup layer is to fix any artifacts on the eyes with the clone tool. Make sure that the option bar is set to opacity 50%. It's just telling you basically how to set all the tools, and the action itself in most cases will set all the tools for you. You can see over here that it already selected the clone tool, it already set the opacity to 50%, it already checked aligned, and it already set sample, current, and below for the layer. So what we would do, as you run this action yourself and you're doing the work, and again, I'm going to teach you each of these retouching steps in future lessons, and so you know what to do on each of these layers. If you were using this action yourself, right now you'd click on stop and go in, and using the clone tool selected, you'd go in and clone out any of the ugly stuff that you don't want, like getting rid of that vein in the eye and a little bit of the redness. Don't want to get rid of it completely. Don't want it to look too fake, and that's how that works. So let's just pretend we did all that retouching, and let's go on and click on the little green arrow here and continue the action. And now it creates another layer over here called Catchlight Remove or Fix Layer. And that's where we would actually go in and we'd actually get rid of the catch light that is there, so we could add a better, snappier catch light later on. And again, the way this works, you can read the instructions right here and see what you need to do. Click on stop and then go in and actually do the retouching right there. So let's pretend we just did that, and click on continue. Brighten eyes layer. You can see over here it's created a new layer for us called Brighten Eyes, and this layer is to brighten eyes overall. And what you would do is you would actually, after you click stop, you would do the work of painting on there just the way I told you to do. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that in a later lesson. And you would do the work, and then you'll click continue on the action to go to the next step. Redness removal. It's made a nice little redness removal layer for us over here. And that's a layer that I could actually use in real life. I wish I had, to get rid of the red in my eyes when I'm just walking around. So anyway, we would click stop. We would do the work on this layer that it told us to do in that dialog box, and then we click continue. Pupil layer. Here we have the layer here called pupil. This is to go in and create a new pupil. Again, I'll explain how to do that in the future lessons. So we'd click stop, we'd create our pupil, and then we would click the continue button here. And the iris color boost or change layer, this creates a layer for you over here if you want to boost the color of the iris, if you want to make the color look more vivid, this is where you do it. Or if you want to change the color of the person's eyes, this is the layer that you would do it on as well. So I'd click stop, I would do the work, and then I would click on continue on the action palette, click on the button here, play selection, and iris ring layer. I like how that sounds, iris ring layer. This creates a layer over here called iris ring, and I've included all these brushes, iris ring brushes, for you to actually go in and make a nice little line that would delineate her eye, her iris, to make her eyes just really stand out. So let's click stop, and we'll pretend we used my nice little iris brush over here. And we'll click continue. Create the catch light layer. This is, again, you'll see over here, create catch light. This is a layer that will be created for you where we'll actually put in a new catch light, one that really pops. So we'd click stop, we would do the work, and then we'd go back over here to the layers palette and click the little green arrow, play selection, and that continues the action. Moon layer. Anyways, you'll see over here, it's got a nice layer called moon, and that's where we make that opposite catch light for the eye using, I've got moon brushes for you over here. If I click stop to do the work, you can see that little tiny brush? Let's zoom in here a little bit. See, it's a nice little crescent moon that you're going to use for this image that it's already selected for you. And then let's pretend we just did that. We created the moon. Let's click on the play selection, And it says, okay, congrats, you've done your eye retouching. I really haven't done the retouching. I'm going to show you in a later lesson what the retouching actually is. Go get a cup of coffee. It's okay, I'll wait. Good. Now zoom out, look at your image, go in and clean up any mask, adjust opacity, etc. Oh, and make sure you retouch both eyes. Haha, then click play. If you've done all the retouching steps, you would zoom out, take a look at your image, and then continue to make sure everything was okay. Okay, now you're really done. I made a nice layer group full of all your work. If you want, you can also adjust the opacity of this whole group or hide some areas by painting on the layer mask. By the way, during your coffee, I was snooping around your hard drive. Oh, don't worry, it wasn't really, just a little joke. But you can see over here that all that retouching that's going to be done is contained in this nice little layer group over here that we can use. And I just noticed that it misspelled eyes retouched. It's eyes reouched. I'm going to have to fix that later. But let's click on continue for now. And just here, my little credit to Faye Circus, the great artist. Much of what I know about retouching eyes I learned from the great artist Faye Circus. I have attended many of Faye's classes and purchased all of her DVDs, and you will learn so much from Faye. You can find her DVDs and online training at Kelby Training. Thanks, Faye, and I mean that sincerely. Faye is just really a great artist. I'm a photographer, and I have big, fat, clunky fingers, and I need to push buttons like the way I'm going to show you here to create images, where Faye is a fantastic artist, and she paints everything from scratch and just does incredible work that I'm simply not capable of doing. So we'll click on stop, and that ends the action. We're going to go on to the next step, and I'm going to open up this layer group here and show you what to do on each layer as we go along.